welcome to Week 6 of the turnover in the NFL season. I'm alongside my co-host Kelvin Reisenfeld.
Back.
And it's been another exciting week of football full of turnovers, good games, and a few injuries.
Look what you did there with the turnovers.
Oh, yeah. To start us off, we're actually going to talk about a bit of a surprising team, the Cleveland Browns. 4-1. They have a decent win against the Colts. The rest are against a bunch of teams under 500. What do you think's going on with the Browns right now?
I said it last week. I was very clear on, very vocal about my opinion on the Cleveland Browns so far. Good for them. They're 4-1. They look solid. Their offense is clicking. Their defense looks good. They've got a really, really strong run game. Other than that, I think they're playing well against some teams that they should be beating.
They've got a real test this week to see how they're doing. Something I think that's noted is Freddie Kitchens' coach last year versus how they're playing this year, the offensive creativity with the weapons that they had. I feel like they never used the weapons that they needed to. Now Odell had to throw last game too.
Yeah.
That's back-to-back games where their star wide receivers are throwing and completing passes, and they got the talent to do it. They've got the talent to mix it up. They're looking good. Le'Veon Bell was released as of yesterday from the Jets. They tried to shop him for a bit. They couldn't find any trades. Where do you think he's going? What do you think this means for his career?
Yeah, I don't know. We talked about this last night, actually, like kind of when it happened. You gave me a call, and both Kerstetter and I kind of just thought that this had Bill Belichick written all over it. We saw Belichick take Antonio Brown last year when he was struggling with some things with the Raiders. But I think that if Le'Veon Bell gets established with the Patriots offense, they could be very dangerous. I think that's like one of their biggest weak points on the offensive end is their run. I don't know, but we threw another couple teams out there, but you can go in on that.
They're knocking around with a few injuries. The Patriots at the running game. I believe Sony Michel is fighting an injury.
Yeah.
But Le'Veon Bell is not good for the locker room culture. That's kind of why he kind of started getting a bit cocky in Pittsburgh. And in New York, he was never able to hit the ground running because it's the freaking Jets. But he's got the talent. We've watched him have the talent. He hasn't played well in, 3 years because he sat out for a bit in Pittsburgh.
He had a big injury, though, a big knee injury. Yeah.
So who knows where he goes? I think a team that he could go to could potentially be the Rams.
Yeah.
However, I think you're right. It's got Belichick written all over it, another guy that he brings in and kind of makes fit into his project. And he gave a chance to AB. Maybe that means he won't to Le'Veon. Maybe it means he will. Who knows, though? Talented running backs on the market.
Yeah, I think another two teams that I thought that could be looking out for him as well would be the Austin Eckler's still hurt for the Chargers. Maybe they could go out there and pick him up. They have a solid offensive line. Justin Herbert looked great. The Colts. I think the Colts could establish that. I mean, they have Jonathan Taylor, who's solid, but I think that if they had Le'Veon Bell, they would be a lot better. They rely on the run. And I think that's why the Colts are an average team right now is because they're relying on the run, but their run offense is just completely average.
And Marlon Mack is still out for the season with a torn Achilles.
I don't see him coming back.
No. Yeah, the Colts is a good team to bring up. I was looking at it yesterday. They don't have as good of an offensive line. Yeah, I think since 2015, this is the worst start to sacks given up, pressures given up, things along that caliber as well as the run game. Jonathan Taylor doesn't really rush the ball more than 20 times. If they add a Le'Veon, they'd be able to give him the ball more. And it would help develop Jonathan Taylor as well. Yeah. But that's a guy that it's a bit of a risk to bring in. We'll see who brings him in.
Especially on a team that's not. I mean, the Colts are winning right now, but they just come off a loss and they keep losing. I feel like Le'Veon Bell needs to be on the winning team kind of.
It kind of depends who he's looking to go to as well. Is he going for a playoff contender? Is he going for money? Is he going to a team that's here and he wants to try and make a statement and bring him here? Who knows what he's looking for? Who knows what teams are even looking at him? No one knows.
Nobody wants a cancer in their locker room.
No, not at all. And he's been that the last few years.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about Dak Prescott. Terrible injury. What does it mean for him? The Cowboys. The Cowboys, for one, weren't doing great this year. They're now 2-3?
Yes.
They are 2-3. Dak was carrying the weight this year.
Yeah.
He was putting the team on his back this year. He was leading the league in yards. He still is leading the league in yards. That injury was horrific. I don't know what it means for sure for the Cowboys. Andy Dalton, he's got talent. You can't deny that. He's the Bengals' best passing quarterback of all time. But he's not Dak Prescott, and that offense isn't built to him. Who knows what can happen with the Cowboys? I think they still have a shot to make the playoffs for the sole reason of being there in the NFC East. And they currently sit first division 2-3.
Yeah, I agree. I think the compound fracture in Dak was really really gross injury to watch. I'm sorry that happened to him. Hopefully he gets well. Shout out to him for sure. It's really unfortunate. I think Andy Dalton has a chance to kind of prove himself a little bit now on a better team. I mean, he is a solid quarterback. I think it's a good quarterback to have as a backup. He's going to be on a team that's got talent. He's got options there too. CeeDee Lamb looks great. The Cowboys, I think, were already in shambles though a little bit before Dak Prescott got that injury. I don't think that they were going to be making the playoffs prior to that. The Eagles are, I still think, going to win the NFC East. Unfortunately.
Really?
Yes. But I think Andy Dalton has a chance to make a name for himself a little bit here. He's a great guy. Cincinnati loved him. I hope personally that he does really well and performs well.
Well, you just hope the best for just that entire situation. Andy Dalton's getting another chance. Dak Prescott's obviously, he had surgery Sunday night because of the compound fracture. You just hope the best for the whole situation. We're doing a recap of last week's giveaway. We did have plenty of submissions. However, the two people that won this shirt was John Kramer and Ben Bollinger. The score of the game was 23-32. Ben Bollinger sent in 31-24, 1 point off for both sides. And Kramer sent in 31-20. He also said Baker throws 3 touchdowns and 250 yards. Almost threw 250 yards.
247, I think.
247, and I believe he had 2 touchdowns. He said Kareem Hunt rushing touchdown. That wasn't totally on, but he had a receiving touchdown, so it counts. Not bad at all for both of them. Congrats to you guys for the shirts. We're doing a giveaway again this week at the end. Stay tuned for that. And now we move on to predictions and the recap of last week's predictions. Last week I went 11-3. The 2 big games that stood out to myself was the Bears losing to the Bucs and the Titans beating the Bills. My season total is 53-24.
You also called the Dolphins over the Niners.
I did call the Dolphins over the Niners an upset of the week. And the Panthers over the Falcons. For whatever reason, that was an upset too, but
yeah,
I still
I think
don't believe
looking
it.
back on that, that's questionable to look back on that. I think that's an upset, but I mean, hey.
I'll take it.
Take it.
Kelvin 9-5. He's 47-30. He is 6 games behind me right now. He's got a lot of ground to build before he comes back.
Yeah, I got to scratch and claw here. I got to pull something out. I don't know. I might have to take some risks here, try and gain some ground on you. I don't know.
Somebody's got to.
Something's got to give.
So right away, Titans versus the Texans. The Titans are favored by 4.5. What you got?
They looked great last night.
Yeah.
They looked really good last night. The game should not have been 42-16. The Bills gave away a fumble at the end, but we'll give them that. Regardless, that doesn't take away from the fact that Ryan Tannehill was 21 for 28. He threw for 195 yards and had 3 touchdowns against the Bills' defense.
Efficient.
Yeah, efficient. And I think he really exposed a lot of the inexperience of that Bills' defense. They got a young defense. He was calling them offsides all game, giving up first down conversions on 3rd and 4th down by simply getting them to drawing them offsides. Derrick Henry is a tank. If you saw that, I think we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But other than that, yeah, I'm taking the Titans. I think I could see them winning by touchdown. Texans don't really have a whole lot rolling for them. They came off a win against the Jags, but I don't think that's going to be anything special. They should have won that game.
Yeah, Deshaun threw for 360 yards and 3 touchdowns in that, but he also had 2 interceptions. David Johnson had just under 100 yards. The Titans are too good to lose this game overall. As you mentioned, Tannehill had 3 touchdowns. He also had a rushing touchdown. Derrick Henry had another 2 touchdowns. And they looked like a complete football team yesterday. Yeah. Something that we kind of been wanting to see out of them all year. They also made Josh Allen throw his 2nd and 3rd interception of the year, something he hadn't had troubles with all year. So that's also something to note. I have the Titans in this week. It's by 4.5. I'd take them by probably more than that.
One thing I wanted to bring up, too, with the Titans was the fact that they kind of came off of like a given bye week. That they were rested and they did break protocol for their practices. I don't know necessarily what their punishment is going to be for that, but they were rested against that Bills team. And if you think otherwise, I'm sorry for that. But the Bills definitely had to go up against a fresh Titans team, which is not easy to do in Week 5.
Especially with a running game like they have with Derrick Henry, right. Fresh Derrick Henry.
Fresh offensive line.
Yeah, everybody's ready to go, which is just unfortunate because now Tennessee has to bounce back and play Sunday, so the roles are gonna be reversed. Hopefully nobody gets injured or anything from that. Here is the absolute toss from Derrick Henry. Just throwing Josh Norman around. That's what we were talking about.
He said he was doing too many curls.
Yeah, I saw that. That was hilarious. So now we got the Ravens and the Eagles. The Ravens are currently favored by 8. The Ravens held the Bengals last week to 3 points. I don't even see the Eagles' offense as more potent than the Bengals. I could see a similar 10 points, 13 points, 7 points that they put up. Joe Burrow only had 180 yards and a touchdown. He's a gunslinger.
Yeah.
So far, Carson Wentz is pulling off a Jameis Winston year. I think he's right around 50-50 for touchdowns, interceptions. He had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions last week. They had a bit under 200 yards rushing, the Ravens did last week as a team. They're getting everyone involved. They aren't giving J.K. Dobbins any carries, which is kind of, I don't know. It's just kind of off. He had 1 carry last week for 34 yards.
He had a couple big breakaways, yeah.
But that's all he's done all year.
Yeah.
But I've got the Ravens in this one. I just don't think that the Eagles are going to stand a chance against this packed Ravens team.
Yeah. Actually, bringing this back to the Le'Veon Bell talk, the Ravens could possibly snag him. They have a deep backfield, but they don't have that star running back anymore that they used to. Mark Ingram's been struggling this year. J.K. Dobbins hasn't been performing. The offense of the Ravens last week didn't look that great. The Bengals defense did, to their credit, what the little good that they did in that game was they did prevent the Ravens from scoring. I believe they held them to 20 points, and they had interceptions and turnovers all game. Eagles' offense is not going to be clicking. We saw how good this Ravens defense was last week. Their offense needs to get going, though. Lamar Jackson needs to get the offense into gear. And I think that they have a chance to do that against the Eagles because I don't think that they're that good at all. I think that was a good comparison with the Eagles' offense to the Bengals. I mean, they went into overtime in their game. Mm-hmm. Neither of them scored. They tied. So.
But the Eagles did put up 29 against the Steelers last week.
Yeah, Miles Sanders had a big week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As well as Travis Fulgham, who had 10 catches, 152 yards last week on the Eagles. So maybe that's a target that Wentz can start throwing to.
Maybe. It's still tough because they still got some injuries on their offense. I mean, Goddard's still hurt. Yeah.
Now we've got the Vikings and the Falcons. Vikings are currently favored 3.5.
Oh, I would bet the house on the Vikings.
I would bet everything in the sink.
Yeah, no, the Vikings had a really good game last week against the Seahawks. They weren't able to pull it out. Russell Wilson had a great game-ending drive there. But it was like 26-27, I believe.
Yeah. 1-point game.
They've established their run game. Dalvin Cook looks like he's strong back. He's back at it. I expect Kirk Cousins to have a big game against the Falcons defense.
Yeah, the Falcons also just fired their GM and head coach. They're defeated. They're 0-4. 0-5.
Yeah.
They're struggling to do anything right, even though they really could have 2 wins. Comebacks, 3 wins, honestly.
Yeah.
When you look at it that way, they could be 3-2 that easily, but they're not. Cousins had 250 yards. Madison had over 100 yards last week.
20 carries, 112 yards.
Yeah, he got more carries than Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook had 65 yards.
He came out with an injury, I think, in that game, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he sat out. I don't remember what he did, but he pulled something. I'm not sure.
I remember seeing he had MRI, actually. Yeah. But it says Vikings by 3.5. I'd take that every day of the week.
Yeah.
We've got Steelers and Browns now. This was a big candidate for game of the week. However, it wasn't. This really could be the game of the week.
Yeah.
This is the first really big test for the Steelers. This is the first really big test for the Browns. This is going to be a big game. Steelers are one of the 4 teams that remain undefeated. Big Ben threw 79% last week and 3 touchdowns. Claypool, who's a rookie, had 110 yards and 4 total touchdowns. He looked like a breakout guy, which is cool because the Steelers just keep producing great receivers. Mike Tomlin, man, that guy is just a great coach. A fun stat to bring up, the Browns have never beat Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh.
Really?
I wanted to take the Browns. I read that stat. I was like, uh-oh.
No way.
Baker's 24th in the league in passing yards right now. Chubb's still out. I think the Steelers win and they cover the spread.
What was the spread?
3.5.
I have that the Browns are getting exposed this week. I think this is their first actual real team they're playing, like, real team. Other than the Ravens. They got stomped week 1. But Steelers defense is really good. They stopped the run. I know Miles Sanders had a pretty big week last week. It's going to be up to that offensive line of the Browns to see what they can do and give Kareem Hunt and Durance Johnson a little bit more running that they can. I think that's what's going to win them this game. Is if they can establish the run and maybe get some play action going for them to open up their receivers, they got a chance. But I like the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game to cover the spread. Big Ben looks good. That's all I got to say about it.
We now have the Colts and the Bengals. Colts are favored by 8.
You go.
All of Cincy was off last week, 3 total points. Joe Burrow had 180 yards, interception, no touchdown. Joe Mixon had well under 100 yards. They just didn't look – it looked like a rebuilding team last week against a superior Ravens team. You said they were able to contain the Ravens a bit. They held Lamar to about 200 yards passing. They held the team to about 200 yards running, which isn't great, but, it could definitely have been worse. Nobody ran for 100 yards on them. The Colts, I still don't even think are that great of a team.
No, why is everybody saying they're the number one defense? Why
because
is everybody saying
all they do is look at fantasy.
Exactly.
Fantasy's number one.
No. The Colts do not have the number one defense in this league.
No. The Colts are currently 19th in rushing yards per game. They are having 105.8. Given that weaker backfield, that's probably why. They're 31st in yards per attempt. They have 3.6. Colts are 3-2. As much as I'd like to say the Bengals could upset them, last week they didn't give me any confidence at all, so I'm taking the Colts. Not by 8, though. I'm not taking them by 8.
I think that this is a must-win for the Bengals to try and keep their whatever season they have alive. I'm not taking them. I wanted to, I really did, but they just gave me absolutely no reason to take them this week. The Colts, they looked solid against the Browns for the most part, but the Bengals could not move the ball at all. I sat through 3 hours of that game just in absolute misery the whole time. The offense could not move the ball. Their offensive line is terrible. I've been saying it every week. That offensive line looks like Swiss cheese. There's holes in it everywhere. I don't know what else to say. The Colts are going to win this game. If they cover the spread, great. I really don't care because the Bengals are going to lose.
All right, fair enough. Now we have the Lions and the Jaguars. I'll let you go first on this one.
I have the Lions winning the Jags, beating the Jags.
Lions are favored 3.5, by the way.
Yeah, I would take them on the spread as well. I think they could win by a touchdown. They're rested. They're coming off a bye week. We'll see what Matt Stafford can do against this struggling Jags offense right now. They just came off of a pretty bad loss to the Texans, who I don't think are a good football team. Mm-mm. But I think the Lions are going to pull it out.
This Lions defense is bottom 5 in the league. They're giving up 170 rushing yards per game. That's last in the league. They're giving up 27 first downs a game. Their D is 5 sacks in 4 games. And somehow the Jaguars are still worse than that. They've given up 30-plus straight in 4 games. They're I believe they're one of 5 teams. Oh, no, I'm thinking of actually somebody else, not the Jaguars. They never blitz. The Lions struggle against the blitz. However, the Lions offense, I think, is going to click this game. I think Stafford breaks out this game. I think the Lions are going to win by 10, 14 points. I really don't think the Lions are that great of a team. However, I do think they're much better than the Jags. And I think that they're going to win big, and all of the Lions crew, all of the Lions fans are going to start getting way overconfident, including myself.
Would you put money on it, that they were going to win by 2 touchdowns?
2 touchdowns, that's pretty bold.
You said 14. You said 10 to 14.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
2 possessions. 2 possession game.
Yeah, I would.
All
2
right,
possession game.
All right, I got a proposition for you.
All right.
The Lions lose this game. You gotta wear a Jags jersey next show.
Oh, that's not even going to happen. The Lions are winning this game.
But you'll take that.
Oh, yeah. The Lions are winning this game. There's no way.
I think that I agree they're going to win, but I don't think they're going to win by more than a touchdown. But
you got to watch it. You got to watch this game.
I
Mark it.
love that you still have faith in your boys because I've lost all my hope.
We're going on a 12-game win streak. Yeah, no, we're not. Don't take that serious. Lions are winning this game. I'm not wearing a Jags jersey next week.
You might. I think I would put my money that you might.
Now you're starting to take the Jags a bit.
I don't know. I like going against you though a little bit. I like bringing out the anger in you.
Oh yeah, okay.
The heart, the true lion.
No, I'll be angry next week. I'm fine right now. Panthers are 3-0 right now without Christian McCaffrey. They take on the Bears this week. Panthers are favored by 3. Teddy Bridgewater threw 73% last week. He had 320 yards, 2 touchdowns. Davis had a decent day. He ran for 89 yards. He also had 60 yards receiving to complement that. Anderson had 112 receiving yards. DJ Moore put up 93. Their offense was clicking. I think this Panthers team is starting to click a bit. I think Teddy Bridgewater is starting to get comfortable in their scheme. They went from 0-2 to 3-2 really fast. Big props to them for losing one of the best players in the league and then doing that. Bears are 4-1. A bad 4-1 team. Foles is 2-0 against Brady last week. Brady walked off the field, didn't shake hands with Foles the last 2 times. He's lost.
No respect.
Still struggling with the rushing game. They had 36 yards total last week. So, I am taking the Panthers in this one. They're favored by 3. I don't think I've picked the Bears once. I don't think I will all year.
I will.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, I sure will. I think they're going to go 5-1. And I agree that they are not a good 5-1 team, but I think that they're about to beat the Panthers. Like you said, they only had 36 rush yards against the Buccaneers defensive line. They still won.
They didn't even look good.
No,
and
they
beat
didn't.
The Bucs.
And they beat the Bucs, who I still think they're an above average team for sure.
Yeah.
Nick Foles is looking good for the most part. You can't really take that away from him. I think the biggest stat that was third down conversions right now for the Bears, they are preventing teams to 25 for 75, which is pretty good.
Preventing teams from 25?
25 attempts at teams they've been facing, 25 out of 75 times they're converting on third down.
Oh, okay.
So they're stopping them 50 times.
Yeah.
Like more so.
66%.
Exactly. So that was a big stat that jumped out at me because I originally was going to take the Panthers, but then I looked into it a little more and I saw that, one, their defense is really solid. They got to Tom Brady a couple times last week. I'm taking the Bears.
Giants versus the Washington football team.
Who cares?
No, I'm kidding. All right, who are you taking?
Like I said, I won't even watch this game. I'll watch it simply because I got a couple guys in fantasy, but I think that
That's bad.
the Giants, I think, are going to win to get their first win this season.
Giants are favored by 3.
That makes me want to change it. It's a home game for them. I think that they were just shy of beating the Cowboys last week. They only lost by a field goal with Dak Prescott going out too, which is very questionable. But I think, their offense isn't terrible. Devontae Freeman ran the ball pretty well last week. They have, I think last week was their first rushing touchdown.
No, receiving. Wasn't it a throwing touchdown we were saying?
No, I think that was like their second rushing touchdown of the year. Oh, wait, no, yeah, you might be right on that.
Yeah, you have the vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Jones threw his second throwing touchdown last week, passing touchdown last week, first since week 1.
Which is not good.
No.
You can't be doing that. I don't know. The Washington football team has a solid defense. Their defensive line's really good, so I think that's what keeps them in it. Otherwise, they have kind of some turmoil at their quarterback and their offensive end right now.
Yeah, Washington put up 149 total yards of offense last week with 2 quarterbacks. However, the Cowboys really should have lost the game against the Giants. The Giants should have 1 win, in my opinion. Cowboys rallied back. Props to them. Daniel Jones looks average. I think he's going to continue to look average against this decent Washington defense. I think Washington wins. Alex Smith is going to be at the helm and get his first W back. It's going to be an emotional week.
Yeah, that's
he's
also
going to play well. I've got Washington.
Big shout out to that. That was really good to see him back on the field after the injury that he went through. I heard the commentators talking about it.
Hell of a story.
Yeah, there's a documentary I believe about it is on Netflix or on ESPN.
It's like a short film.
Yeah.
A hell of a story. I've got Alex Smith this week. I can't root against him.
I hope he wins.
Now, this game was supposed to happen last week, Patriots-Broncos, but it got pushed back again because of COVID. Patriots are favored by 8. I think we talked enough about this last week. Cam Newton should be back, barring some type of setback again with COVID-related issues. The Broncos are just not a good team. They were going to be a decent team with Drew Lock. They were going to be a 500 to slightly above, slightly below. They're going to be well below now with all the injuries they've had. Phillip Lindsay's back. Good for him. Melvin Gordon's going to be getting a bulk of the carries, though I think he's kind of proven his worth, and he's taken that step. I still think Phillip Lindsay's a good running back, though. But the Patriots are just head and shoulders better than the Broncos, especially with another week off. Stephon Gilmore could be back, too. The Patriots are just way too good of a team to lose this game. Patriots by 8. I'd take them by 2 scores.
Yeah. I think the Broncos' defense is going to have to step up here big time for sure. I got the Patriots winning. I think they're rested. Cam Newton's getting back. Bill Belichick's going to have his boys ready to play. They're hungry. They need to win, especially now that the Bills just lost. So they're going to try and nip their heels a little bit on that side of things. But other than that, I think they're just a better overall team defensively and offensively.
Can't say much more about it.
Simply said.
Yeah. We now have the Dolphins and the Jets. Dolphins are favored by 9.
Why do I have any reason not to?
Yeah, I guess
Jets are terrible.
They're playing the Jets.
Yeah, they could be playing the Findlay High School team, and I might take them. If you want me to go,
Yeah.
Joe Flacco, I will give him credit for stepping up and taking on that role. He looked okay. But, I mean, he looked
okay.
He looked okay for the Jets, which correlates to bad. I'd take the Dolphins' big win last week against the 49ers. Fitzpatrick looked really good in that game. I would take them by, 9?
9.
It's a lot of points, but I would take the Dolphins.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick threw 79% last week. He had 350 yards, 3 touchdowns. It's the Jets that are one of 5 teams in the last 30 years to lose every game by multiple points. Le'Veon Bell is gone, a very talented running back, a bit of a locker room cancer. He's gone, though, at the end of the day.
Now what do you do?
So you went from in the basement to below the basement somehow. I think the Dolphins win this game. I think they win it big. Honestly, Fitzpatrick might have another 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. Yeah. He's having a decent year.
Yeah. He performs against teams that he should beat.
Yeah.
Which is, it's underappreciated because not a lot of, there are some teams that do that, but consistently beat the teams that you should is good to be an average football team.
And he's a veteran.
Yeah.
He's a good guy to have for Tua as well, Tua's development. Let's see what happens there. Next, we have the Packers and the Bucs. Now, this is going to be a really good game. Packers are favored by 2.5 currently, and it's in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Brady had 253 yards last week against the Bears. Ronald Jones ran for 100 yards. They lost, obviously. They're allowing 58 rushing yards a game. So I'm assuming that the Packers are going to have – they're going to try and feed the ball to Aaron Jones. However, Devontae Adams and Allen Lazard are hurt. So it's going to be interesting to see how Aaron Rodgers handles that.
Yeah. You
got Robert Tonyan, who's kind of an emerging star at tight end for the Packers, 6 touchdowns through his first 3 career games played, which is a ridiculous stat. I'm taking the Packers in this one. The Bucs are going to have over 100 rushing yards in this game, though.
You think so?
Leonard Fournette really didn't even touch the ball last week after being – I don't think he rushed the ball one time after being pronounced active.
Yeah.
I still think that they're going to have over 100 rushing yards. Aaron Jones is going to have a tough time. He's a good back. Maybe he's able to make me eat my words, but I'll take the Packers in this one, probably by the spread.
I would also take the Packers in this game. The Buccaneers are a good team, and I think this is going to be a really good test for the Packers defense. Kind of see what they're about a little more because the Bucs offense is their strong suit. I think that Jamal Adams and Aaron Jones are going to have to step up and really be targets for Aaron Rodgers on the receiving end, which is something that the Packers incorporated last week, especially with Jamal Williams. Mm-hmm. He's listed as a running back, but he played more of like a slot receiver, and I think that that's something they do really well. Aaron Rodgers picks up the blitz, which is something that the Bucs thrive on currently. I don't think they're going to have a lot of success running the ball. I agree with that, but I think that Aaron Rodgers is good enough to be able to pull out a win and put up points against this Buccaneers defense.
The Bucs defense is very talented.
Yes.
But Aaron Rodgers is
just unreal.
Yeah, he's a great quarterback, and yeah, if you want to see a great matchup, this is going to be another great game.
I think this could be a shootout. Like, I could see it being 30 points both ways. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that one.
Final drive. You got either Rodgers or Brady with the ball in their hands. Yeah,
what more do you want as a football fan?
I'll be tuning in this game.
Yeah.
There's no way you're
There's
not.
no way. I'm not watching the freaking Washington football team and the Giants.
1 win combined.
Yeah, the Dolphins and the Jets, no thanks.
Next, we have the Rams and the 49ers. Rams are favored by 3.5.
I think you said it to me yesterday. This is a must-win for the 49ers.
Yeah.
And I agree. But I will also say that this is a must-win for the Rams. In that division, in the NFC West, it is so competitive. They cannot drop this game to the last team in the division. The 49ers, I think, are a little bit in shambles a little bit right now. They had some injuries that really, I think, have set them back and kind of shaken up their offense a lot. They didn't look good last week against the Dolphins, especially they came out really flat. I think for the first time I checked the score, it was like 37-10 or something like that. It was out of this world. They had no business losing to that Dolphins team in the fashion that they did, but they did. And I would take the Rams, who are looking to be a really good organized football team this year.
Yeah, I did say that because the 49ers are a talented football team that's been going through injuries. Jimmy G was back last week for about 5 minutes, and then he got pulled. Now he lasted until the second quarter, and then they brought in C.J. Beathard, who also didn't perform well. But Jimmy G's pulled. He's probably going to be the starter again this week. They'll probably stick with him. He was just hurt last week. He seemed to be limping a bit and favoring his opposite ankle. Raheem Mostert came back strong. So that's a good sign for the 49ers. But Jared Goff's coming off of a 3 total touchdown game against Washington. They gave Washington absolutely nothing. They held them below 200 yards total.
That defense is really good.
Yeah, the Rams are just a very good football team. I think they cover the spread. This 49ers team, as you said, is in shambles and heading down quick. I just don't think it's their year this year. Regather themselves, they can come back next year. Before the season, this might have been very much so a game of the week category. You could have had two teams that have one loss, no losses so far, going head to head, but you got an injured 49ers against a thriving and rising Rams team. Now we have the Cardinals and the Cowboys. The Cardinals are favored by 3 in this game. Dak is out, terrible injury. Zeke had 91 yards last week, still doesn't have 100 yards yet this year. Rushing. He's come close, though, so it's not like he's doing terrible. The Red Rifle, Andy Dalton.
Who dey?
He got to step up. He stepped up. He had 2 great throws to Michael Gallup late in the game to lead to the last-second field goal for them to beat the Giants. He threw 9 for 11 when he came in and over 100 yards. The Cardinals bounced back after losing back-to-back 30-10 against the Jets. Woohoo. Kyler Murray actually had 380 passing yards, though. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He rushed for 31. D-Hop had 130 yards and a touchdown. Taking the Cowboys.
The Cowboys?
The Cowboys.
Cowboys?
I think they're going to rally this week. I think they're going to rally this week around Dak.
Oh, hell no.
I think Zeke is going to step up this week. Zeke's going to have his first 100-yard game.
The Cowboys?
I'm taking the Cowboys this week.
What more do I got to say? The Cowboys?
I'm taking the Cowboys.
No way. The Cardinals are going to win this game. I don't care. The Cowboys' defense is atrocious. They are terrible. They're terrible. Kyler Murray is going to have his way. Kenyon Drake, I'm waiting for him to have a big week because he's been like Casper the Friendly Ghost this season. I think Chase Edmonds is going to be stepping up for them to play a bigger role. He's got a couple touchdowns the past couple weeks. But DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald, I'm taking the Cardinals. I don't know how you can think otherwise. Dak Prescott's gone. The only thing that was holding that Cowboys team together. I love, like I said earlier, Andy Dalton. I hope that he does well. I really do like him as a person. He's a great guy, good, solid quarterback. But I'm taking the Cardinals.
I'm taking the boys, and it's just because the Cardinals in the last 3 weeks have been questionable. You get rid of the Jets game, which the Jets is the Jets. They look even more questionable. The Cardinals lost to the Lions.
Yeah. The Cowboys almost lost to the Giants. If you want, we can talk about the Cowboys again if you want, but I don't think you want to do that.
No, I think we've said our piece about them. So now we have the game of the week. We have our giveaway this week. It's going to be these UFTV winter hats.
Keep your little ears warm.
Yeah, it's getting cold. They're pretty freaking cool. It is the Chiefs versus the Bills. Same rules as last week. Send in your score predictions to myself or Kelvin. Whoever's the closest will get it. Let's hear what you got.
I want you to go.
All right. KC is favored by 3.5. Both teams are coming off of losses where they looked not their best, to say the least. The star quarterbacks, obviously, Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes, could definitely have played better. Mahomes had 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. By the way, I think it's hilarious that anytime we say he had an average game, he has over 300 yards. They had 80 rushing yards last week total. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has not done much yet. They gave up 40 to the Raiders, which the Bills have a better defense than the Raiders and offense. And they gave up 347 yards to D. Carr. And I do love D. Carr. I'm a huge advocate of D. Carr. However, Josh Allen is better. Josh Allen had 253 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and they lost by 26 to the Titans. Taking the Chiefs.
I'm not.
I'm not.
Nope. The congratulations to the Raiders for pulling out a win against the Chiefs. I think that the Buffalo Bills are going to bounce back. I know they didn't look too good against Titans, but I'm sticking to them. I think that Josh Allen is going to have a good week this week. I think he brings that unconventional, kind of unorthodox style that is going to cause the Chiefs' defense some problems. You get a quarterback that can move, scramble out of the pocket, and make some deep throws, and maybe give that secondary a little bit of problems. The one thing that I think that's a problem is John Brown is no longer on the Buffalo Bills. And that, I think, is hurting them. He was leading the league last year in 50-plus yard receptions, which is always solid to have that deep route option. Stephon Diggs is now taking over that role. Singletary's a solid running back. I don't know. I just think, I know it's kind of crazy to go against the Chiefs back-to-back weeks, but I'm doing it. And I think I'm down by 6 games. I think this is one that I think I could surprise some people and come back on.
Down by 6 games.
Yeah. What's the spread on this game?
3.5 to KC.
Oh, I would take the Bills. I would take the Bills in the bet. I think 3.5. I could see them losing to it by a field goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very good game. That is it for Week 6 of the turnover. We will see you for Week 6 of the NFL season. Again, you want to send in your submissions, you can comment on YouTube at @Kerst.
Yep, Kelvin_Reisenfeld. Hit us up on Twitter. Let us know.
Yep. Thank you. Have a good week.
UFTV is your university and community TV station.